Welcome back, NoDQ Galaxy, to a brand new edition of the NoDQ review number 280. I am Virtue, the moderator, being joined by this week's elite panel of the NoDQ review. Of course, Aaron Rift is here, the reliable one, Walter Cruz, the renegade of wrestling, JJ, is in the house, and TJS has made it aboard. Gentlemen, what's going on? JJ, what's up, man?
Not a whole lot, Virtue. Good to be here. Thank you for having me back. Thank you for reaching out to me in the wee hours of the morning, see if I was available. Ready to talk some wrestling, man. Let's get to it.
Here we go. Stay tuned. I'll be back to you shortly. TJS, what's going on?
Well, we're 1 week away from WrestleMania Sunday, boys, and I'm looking forward to it. That's one of our topics. How could it not be? Doing all right, ready to talk some wrestling. WWE's as hot as it's ever been right now. Can't wait to discuss.
True that. All right, Walter, what's up?
Nothing much. Good to see and good to be seen, as I always say. It's going to be one hell of a long week with all of us in streaming, and Mr. No Days Off up there in the corner, and both corners, the top whole three row, basically no days off this week. So I'm ready to get into it.
All righty. Aaron, question for you. Why are there no live videos on Facebook and X right now? Did you not turn that on for this episode?
They are being broadcasted on my personal Facebook and my personal Twitter account.
Cool.
Just changing it up this week. This is busiest week in wrestling. We got WrestleMania 40. We're 1 week away now. 1 week from this moment, we'll be watching WrestleMania Night 2. A lot to discuss as we head into the Super Bowl of wrestling, and this is the first of 13 live streams on the NoDQ YouTube channel. Shout out to Psycho Jet Black. He sent in $2. He said, TJS, do you still have your periwinkle blue shirt?
All I'm going to say is just watch Tuesday. You'll have to see.
We got predictions coming up Tuesday night for night 1 of WrestleMania. Make sure you tune in for that, 7 p.m. Eastern, 4 p.m. Pacific with the NoDQ panel. TJS is apparently going to be there. Greg from the UK will be joining us. So make sure you guys tune in for that. It's going to be a fun one. And then we have night 2 coming up on Thursday at 8 o'clock. But this is the NoDQ review. Final thoughts on things going on heading into WrestleMania. Virtue, let's get it going.
First topic. And normally I'd put him in the main event this time of year, but later on, CM Punk fans, stay tuned because we haven't seen him in a while, but we saw him on Raw. We will be talking about Punk and his role at WrestleMania. But first, The Rock comes out on Raw, I believe unadvertised. I wasn't expecting him. Was anybody else? Whispers something to Cody, which Aaron said it was, tonight I'm going to make you bleed, because I think The Rock went on his social media and put some still shots and put that phrase up there to make people, know, hey, this is what I told them. It makes sense now because at the end of the show, Cody was backstage and The Rock jumped him, beat him up, and it was very great. It was very cinematic. They were lucky because it was raining. They went outside. Cody's bus was there. The WWE truck was in the distance with pictures of Stone Cold and Cena. That could be interesting right there, but Rock proceeded to beat the ever-loving crap out of Cody, made him bleed, rubbed the blood on the weightlifting belt, and that's going to probably come into play at WrestleMania. So, gentlemen, we must talk about this. And, for those CM Punk fans that are watching tonight, because we're going to be talking about him, his video did outdraw the 2 Rock videos by 100,000 or so on YouTube, and that's okay. To have 3 videos from one show on their YouTube channel go viral, that's what it's about this time of year. So JJ, I'm going to start with you on this. The bloody Cody Rhodes at the hands of Dwayne. Called himself Dwayne in that segment.
Yeah, that was definitely interesting. I mean, if what The Rock has said on social is accurate, and he really did say, I'm going to make you bleed, then you can kind of piggyback to that interview that Cody did with Jackie Redmond, I think, where he said that, Rock made a promise that he can't keep. Because, of course, it's PG. We're not supposed to have blood and all that stuff. So kind of makes sense there. But the whole angle I thought was really well done. I do think it was interesting the way they kind of just did the whisper in the beginning, because I'm sure a lot of casual fans tuned out when The Rock came out, whispered, and left. They probably didn't hang around for the whole rest of the show. The casuals anyway. I mean, us diehards were. But I think maybe it's just me coming up an Attitude Era fan, but I was waiting for him to get thrown over the side of that bridge there, kind of like, Austin Rock in the river. They could have had a crash pad down below so Cody wouldn't have hurt himself, but like, I was waiting for something like that, the way they were teasing it. I don't know about the rest of you guys, but it was a solid segment. I think it did everything it needed to do. I don't know about putting all this focus on The Rock. I'm not going to be here for spoilers or for predictions, so I guess I can say this a little bit, but it almost makes me think that Roman is going to win because Cody's focus is all on The Rock. He's taken his eye off of the tribal chief, and that's who he's supposed to beat to finish the story.
Yeah. Well, would it not be weird, JJ, if night one during the tag match, that's when, if there was any involvement of Rock and Austin and Cena to come help in the tag match, because the other Bloodline members can come out and still help on the tag match if the ref was out. And if that happened, and then, like I said, Cody and Seth went over there and there were no Bloodline rules, now everyone's thinking, wow, it's one-on-one Roman, and that sets up, you would think Cody would be able to beat him clean, but new member of the Bloodline, Rollins turning. I don't know. I love a little bit of doubt. I just don't want those Cody fans going in with 100% certainty that is going to finish his story, and it is most likely to happen. I just want people to have doubt.
I'm right there with you. Again, whether Rollins turns, whether we get, Jacob Fatu or another member of the Bloodline debuting, or Roman actually does what the haters have been hating on him about and wins one clean without Bloodline, then he can hold that belt up and be like, now what, bitches? You know what I mean? It's like, I have finally done what y'all have been crying about. The Cody crybabies just got silenced, and I did it with no help.
Yep. And all right, J Job, thank you for that. And I'm the one that said Cody should have got a rematch at SummerSlam last year and lost. So it would have been over because Roman had his 1,000 days at that point. So I'm not sitting there trying to hold on to something. I already said Roman hit 1,000, it should be done. So I want wrestling fans to not know in their brain what is going to happen. I want it to, during that both matches, both main events next weekend. I want Cruz and Oz where you're literally doing this. We know wrestling's fake, but if you can suspend your disbelief and have some element of surprise, better to watch.
And as close as we were to the 1,000 when we had this moment last year, we're only 150, 160 days away from passing Hogan.
Yeah,
September 12th, which is a Thursday, would be the tie date. Yep. Friday the 13th of September, which would be a SmackDown Live, would be passing the day.
And think about it.
Friday the 13th, a SmackDown Live. You announce that Roman's going to be there. You can have Cody with the briefcase, because if he loses, he's not going to get another title shot. So you get him the Money in the Bank briefcase. Bam, cash in, take it away from him after he's passed the Hogan mark.
Yeah, I mean, how often does that happen where you have a chance to get to that Hogan mark, which is modern day era?
Yeah,
and then Roman's going to have by next year, probably 10 show closing matches at Mania in his career after he faces The Rock. That's putting Roman as their Mount Rushmore guy of this generation. But I know Vince isn't there anymore. Tribal chief. Vince isn't there anymore. So, but anyway, TJS, over to you now. We were talking about the Rock backstage segment. I loved it. It was very cinematic because that rain. How perfect was that night in Chicago?
Yeah, I loved it. I just wonder, would Kevin Dunn have allowed, a segment like that to air? I actually don't know. But nonetheless, I thought that it was incredible. I love a good beatdown, and The Rock was talking trash the whole time he was doing it, so loved it. But man, I mentioned this before, but why would anyone cheer for Cody at this point? He just keeps getting like his ass whooped, and he's shown like no edge. He just comes off as a loser to me, and that's fine with me. You know, I would not complain if Roman did retain at Mania, but I get it. Like they're trying to stack the deck against Cody, but I just don't see why anyone would be cheering for him at this point. So The Rock is just. I'm so glad that he's doing this, and I couldn't imagine if he was if the Cody Crybabies didn't do their thing, and then if we were just getting Rock versus Roman. Wonder if we would be getting, you know, heel Rock, and if they would have turned Roman face. I don't know, but yeah, I mean, I think it's been a hell of a ride, and I'm gonna be sad when Rock does go into the sunset for this run. So.
Now, TJ, as you said, why would anybody cheer for Cody? Keep in mind, there's kids, there's women, the Cena fan, the Cena type crowd. And Cena was also a lot of people with disabilities and that kind of thing gravitate towards the baby face, the hero, live vicariously through. That's a normal thing that's happened for generations. And the Cody Crybabies, they like him because they're losers too. So that you would naturally like a loser. So I just wanted to get that out there. Walter.
He's right.
Not all Cody fans are losers. The one the Rock calls out.
I know what you mean. Well, first of all, the I can attest to that, and Aaron will tell you, because I've been following NoDQ for forever. So the most overused and asked question ever was, is the Attitude Era back? Is the Attitude Era back? Like, so now with this, like, I can't say it's back, but it's damn near close, because this was very Attitude Era-esque. And I'm right along there with JJ. With that angle that they were showing of the off the bridge, I thought he was going to toss him over too, or knock him over. I don't know. It's like they were like purposely angling it. But, you know, my second point, like, why the whole thing with what you said that Rock said on Instagram, and he said, I'm going to make you bleed. Like, I just don't get it. Why take the mystery out of it? I think it's more fun for us to speculate and guess what he said than to actually know. I don't know what it is with us. Yeah. Like, why do we need to know how the magician did his trick? Just enjoy the show. Why do we need to know how things happen the way they happen? Just leave it alone. It's more fun to speculate and get these gifts and these jokes on Twitter. There's been a lot of things already made and jokes and guesses of what he said that are pretty funny. And you can't get that when someone actually sits there and lets the cat out of the bag and tells you what he actually said. It's like you killed all the fun. So, like, I don't get why we're in this need to know now. We need to know society. It's like things have changed in the mystique of how things are done backstage. It's like, I get we're in the age of social media, but sometimes it works against us. We don't need to know every little intricate detail of how things work or what was said, because it takes the fun out of it. Like, I don't know, it's the society we become. But in terms of the angle, this was done great. Like, I really liked it. And the fact that Rock, of all people, showed up with no announcement. There was no little picture of him at the airport. There was like absolutely jack squat. Like, nobody knew anything.
Dirt sheets didn't know.
Yeah, nobody.
It wasn't leaked. And this is like the 90s when there was internet around, but you couldn't just look something up and know. Like, that's exactly my point of what I was saying. Why do we need to know things? Look at that. They did a surprise in 2024 with social media and everything. They kept one of the biggest stars. Well, damn near the biggest star in the world. Like, he's the most recognized face ever. They kept him hidden. Like who the hell knew this was going to happen? And it happened, and it was like awesome. And they did it at the beginning, which you should do, so that those people that you were saying, like, most of the diehards will probably turn away. This is how you keep people, and you keep your ratings all 3 hours, because then you're like, holy hell, if The Rock showed up in the first 5 minutes of Raw, I got to watch what else can happen. So this is a smart thing to do.
Yep. Hey, and if everybody wants to know, why did Cody end up, because originally he didn't do the blonde hair like his dad and Dustin. Mm-hmm. And then he started doing it, and these are the reasons why, right? That's the image, because the blood shows up better, and so it paid off, right? That's classic wrestling. So Just the whole thing was old school. Very good. Well done. Aaron, what are your thoughts here? And the super chats.
We do have some super chats. We'll get to those. First of all, shout out to Sean Smith. Thank you for the super chat. I appreciate it. He says, my man's Dwayne on Real Heel Energy. Loved that segment, though. Would love to be on a review panel in the near future. Longtime fan for 10 plus years. Thank you for that. Virtue, what's your email so he can contact you, send a sample video to be on the review?
NoDQVirtue@gmail.com.
That's for anybody that wants to potentially be on a panel. Send him a sample video, like 30 seconds. Just introduce yourself and sell yourself. He wants some personalities on the NoDQ review. So if you think you got what it takes to be on the video, if you think you can handle the heat, send a 30-second sample to Virtue and go all out. Just play a character. Just have fun with it. And
but be honest,
Virtue will consider
though.
you.
Like, be honest with your opinion. Like, you know, me liking Roman all these years because the majority of people hated him. Maybe initially that was a thing that I got off on, but over the years, I truly like that. Like, that's what I like watching. I like watching the people that wrestling fans try to say is not good. And then I like to see them develop and become great and make everybody change their minds. There's nothing wrong with that. So just be genuine.
And Hamp Connell sent in a $5 super chat. Shout out to Hamp. Thank you, Hamp. I appreciate it. He says, big day in WWE history. In 1985, we had the first ever WrestleMania. Yeah, March 31st. And then WrestleMania in 1996, the Iron Man match, Shawn Michaels and Bret Hart. And then in 2003, Goldberg made his debut in WWE, Old Whisker Biscuit, the night after WrestleMania 19. And what a run that was, right? 2003.
Oh, Aaron.
And who was involved in that?
Tito's like Virtue admits it. I've admitted it years ago. Where have you been? Did you not hear?
Here we go.
Not listening?
Here we go with Virtue versus Tito on the NoDQ review. And he doesn't show up to be on because he's got to put his kids to bed.
Selective hearing and reading on his end to always fit his narrative. So go ahead.
Make him take off that mask. How about that?
But it's okay.
Won't happen, TJS.
It's out in the open now. Now Tito.
There's a better chance Vince McMahon comes back to WWE than Tito shows up and takes off that mask. Just saying.
He's always welcome on the review, though. He knows that. All right, Aaron.
He is. But he will not be taking off that mask. He won't even meet up with me in person. So there you go. Psycho Jet Black sent in a $5 super chat. Thank you, Psycho. Appreciate it. It says, that beatdown by The Rock had me convinced that Cody will win at WrestleMania. Had Cody fought back, I would have thought 50-50. Yeah, I think that the beatdown was extremely well done. And I do think Cody is winning at WrestleMania, especially when a kid was crying because of that. And it went viral on social media. This little girl started crying. They're going to go with a happy ending. But like Virtue said, I think it's good that we have some doubt. And I really hope that there's an emphasis that Roman Reigns is close to beating Hulk Hogan's number to be the longest reigning champion of the WrestleMania era. The only negative I thought with that Rock segment was that Roman should really be the guy that is pulling the strings here. I like what they did on SmackDown because Paul Heyman is claiming that Roman Reigns set that up. It was Roman Reigns who put that all in motion. But yeah, I want to see Roman look really strong on these last two shows before WrestleMania. And yeah, maybe it makes it obvious Cody's winning, but I want to see Roman take control here. And remember, at the end of the day, this is eventually going to set up Roman Reigns versus The Rock. So you do want to have Roman heavily in the mix here and not just be an afterthought. But I am looking forward to the eventual Rock versus Cody Rhodes match. I think they have to do it. We'll talk more about this when we get to the predictions videos. I'm sure we'll have all of our different theories on it. Night one, the tag match. We'll be talking about that Tuesday night, 7 p.m. Eastern. There's another plug for that. And Psycho Jet Black sent in a $2 super chat, says, has the Crybabies soured on Cody or the booking? Or has the Crybabies soured you on Cody or the booking. They haven't soured on me at all. I'm grateful for the Cody Crybabies because we got heel Rock. I don't know if they pivoted or not. I know everybody's got their thoughts on it. We've heard reports, but we got heel Rock. Regardless of what this all was, we got heel Rock. So I am eternally grateful to the Cody Crybabies. Walter, go ahead with your thoughts.
Yeah, I was just gonna say with this, with what they did on Monday, this throws a huge wrench in us that we're thinking like maybe Cody and The Rock were secretly working together in the background, because if y'all working together, y'all did this, then you're just making Cody look like a dumbass. Like really, like there's no way you could come back and try to say, oh, they backstage, they were coming. You done pulled the trigger on this. There's no way that story can come up now.
Oh, Psycho Jet Black sent in another $2 super chat. Thank you for that. Thank you for that. He says, what if Cody and Roman do a tug of war with the belt? I think there's a better chance of them doing that than Mr. Tito showing his face on a no DQ video or meeting me in person for that matter. I'm driving down to his state and he can't even drive an hour or two to meet me. So he will not reveal his identity. Maybe he's scared that I'll take a picture with him with his mask off with his real face and he doesn't want it on the internet. I don't know, but he's a very private person. You know, he likes to have his internet gimmick, but he doesn't want to actually show himself and be on camera, which I understand that. He's a dad. I get it. You know how toxic the internet community can be. You know how toxic certain fans can be. So I don't blame him for not wanting to be on camera.
I know exactly.
He truly sticks to his stick.
Go ahead.
Oh, why is that?
Career, work.
Fair enough. I mean, that is completely fair. So, Tito, we're just messing with you. We love you.
Yeah, it's okay.
It's okay. It's all right.
We got a gimmick. Remember, I like personalities.
Yeah, we like having Tito on the review. We like having the columns. You know, he definitely has strong opinions. And his column last week did a huge number on no DQ. So Tito brings in the views. I got to give him credit.
And he likes the Beatles.
All right. Where are we at, Aaron?
Exactly.
Moving on.
I think we're ready for the next topic.
Okay, now this is just kind of a tease thing because you guys are doing the predictions on Tuesday. No need for any predictions here, but quick topic. It's okay. But what are you most looking forward to WrestleMania weekend? And this is normally I would say pick three things. No, the one thing. The one thing. And it can be the tag match night one. It could be Cody and Roman night two. It could be something else. It could be Punk and McIntyre or not Punk and McIntyre. That's what it should be. But it could be Rollins and McIntyre with Punk being involved. TJS, I'll start with you. There's one thing that for next weekend you can't wait to watch that you already know of. What is it? And why?
It has to be one thing only.
Yep.
I am going with the tag match, Rock and Roman versus Cody and Seth, because my God, I am just so pumped to see Rock in the ring, even if it's not like a great technical masterpiece. You know, it's going to be very entertaining, and I'm very excited to see it. The reason I didn't go with Cody Roman is because we saw it last year. So there might be a twist on it this year, but as for me, the tag match, that can't wait for it. I'm very, very hyped and looking forward to it. So that's what I'm going with, but it's close. I mean, there's all kinds. It's a great card. So it's like 1A and 1B.
Yeah, and that's good. I'm interested to hear what everyone else has to say because, like, 1 point for that match. Okay, Walter.
I'm going to cheat a little. What I'm interested in is the aftermath of everything together. Because I'm going to WrestleMania, so I'm obviously looking forward to everything. So the one thing I'm really looking forward to is the aftermath, the results of what happens now that when all the dust is settled, as they say. So that's what I'm really looking forward to, the aftermath of it.
Like after, like when you say aftermath, after like, night 2 main event is over.
Yeah.
Like
after the whole
media, after the show,
is over. Yeah, like after the entire WrestleMania is over, what direction everybody has to go to, and what takes it, and what resets, and all that. Are we going to get a draft again? Like, I'm actually looking forward to the aftermath of it.
So by default,
what match?
Yeah, that's a cop out.
But by default, that means he said Cody and Roman. That's what I got out of that.
Yeah, I guess. Yeah.
Okay. That's a show closer of the whole weekend. Okay, fair enough. All right, JJ, go ahead.
I am looking forward to the WrestleMania debut of that bitch Jade Cargill and her silencing her haters and her critics.
What now? Do we have is the match? Is it a 3-on-3 tag match? Is
Six-woman tag, yeah.
okay?
Jade,
so that's what's gonna happen.
Naomi, and Bianca versus Kabuki Warriors and Dakota Kai.
And if she's going to become a big star, her WrestleMania debut, I mean, that you could look back on that years from now after she's in Charlotte zone. If she gets there, and you could be like, I see why I wanted to really, yeah, okay, good one.
Nope.
I'm
surprised Walter didn't say that because Walter and
Yeah.
I are like neck
Jade.
and neck with our love for Jade.
I knew you were going to. That's why I didn't want to take it from you.
Appreciate that.
She's
sir.
got that. She's got the superstar look, though. I mean, even with what she wears, like, just no question. So let's see. I'm sure she'll win the fans over, but stay tuned. Aaron, I'll let you go before I do. I'm still thinking.
Okay. I mean, for me, it's night one, main event, The Rock getting back in the ring. The tag match, to me, is the biggest match of either night. Although Rock, whether he wins or loses, it does set up the night 2 main event. And the night 2 main event is a close second, but I think with The Rock on night 1, I have to go with that. He'll probably be on night 2. That's the thing, though. You know, that's why you can maybe make an argument for night 2 because, I mean, again, I don't want to spoil things right now, but I have a feeling Rock is going to be involved in night 2 in some capacity. And I think night 2 is going to be very overbooked. I think we're going to have a lot of people getting involved in that match. And this is the one time where I think it's what people want. People want it to be all-out chaos on night 2 of WrestleMania and that main event because we saw what happened last year. So this year, they got to up the ante. It's got to be even more chaotic and more things happening. It needs to be just, you know, a pure spectacle. And Psycho Jet Black sent in a $2 super chat. He says, will Roman Reigns and or Cody bleed in night 2 of WrestleMania? That's interesting. I don't know if they're going to do blood again. That might have just been a one-off, but, you know, it would help, I think, if Cody got busted open during that match and Roman is working on that cut. You know, Cody did not get back up when The Rock beat him down and left him bloody. So I think for dramatic purposes, it would be very effective. And people would be like, oh man, Cody's in really rough shape here. He's busted open. He's bleeding all over the place. You know, maybe Roman puts him in the guillotine. And just like at WrestleMania 13, when Austin's blood was pouring down his face, maybe they could do the same thing here where Cody is in that guillotine submission that has put away a lot of people. Roman has won many matches with that. Cody, a bloody mess in the guillotine, and he somehow gets out of it. I mean, that's huge. And maybe Roman gets busted open too. And it's the turning point in the match. And that's when Roman needs some help. And then all hell breaks loose. And Psycho Jet Black sent in another $2 super chat. So thank you, Psycho Jet Black. He says, here's a spoiler alert. Ryback will not be there. There you go. Safe bet. Better chance Ryback shows up than Mr. Tito unmasking on a NoDQ video. Walter?
With the blood thing, I think it'll only work if Rock and Roman win the tag match. It's only going to work if you do bloodline rules because it just won't work otherwise. It's got to have everything against it. Like
that's why.
On that. Yeah.
That's why we don't want to really try to dig too deep into the spoilers. But Tuesday night, 7 p.m. Eastern, 4 p.m. Pacific will be our WrestleMania Part 1 predictions. So make sure you guys tune in for that.
Don't overdo it with blood. Don't become AEW. That's their mistake. They're overdoing everything. Do this every once in a while so we can get the reactions that we all have now. Once you become and make it too normal and make it a thing like cursing, it just becomes blah. It becomes the status quo, and then you won't get the reactions we all give it.
And remember, you're going to do the predictions after Raw tomorrow night. Not after, but Tuesday, after Raw takes place, obviously.
Yeah.
Rock and Roman are going to be on Raw. So maybe it'll sway. Maybe it'll sway one person. I was torn between the 2 main events, but when push comes to shove, it's Roman and Cody. Because the expectations are for me, Cody to finish the story. And most of me really wants that, so Roman can move on. He could always win the title back. Sure, it ends the streak of days, but that's okay. And if Roman wins and keeps it, which I do not expect, I'm gonna have a field day. So naturally that match, it's got to be what I'm looking most forward to. Now, with that said, before we talk about CM Punk, we have to talk a little bit about AEW for the AEW fans out there. And I tried to think of something a little interesting here. And, not that Matt Cardona showed up and challenged Edge. Sorry, Adam Copeland for the TNT title and lost. But, AEW, and I'm not talking about the people that left the company that are now with WWE, but they're missing some of their identity. They want identity. MJF is out. Kenny Omega is out. And how bad, really? And you could say what you want about both of them. And obviously, injuries, you got to be out to heal. And Kenny Omega has medical issues. But I think it affects AEW quite a bit. And I'm not saying those two guys coming back raise the bar. The ratings probably would be about the same, maybe a little bit better. But just their identity. Those two guys are, like, you could say who the real pillars are. No, MJF is obviously one of them. Kenny Omega is one of them too. Coming off of all those Japan matches, helping start the company. So what do you think, Walter? And if there's anybody else I missed, I know Britt Baker's been gone. Okay, man. Go ahead. I mean, at least Adam Cole's there still on TV, so you really don't count him, even though he's hurt.
Right.
But MJF and Omega, like, to me, those are two of the foundations of AEW. What do you say here? I mean, they've been gone. They're going to continue to be gone, and I think it matters. I think it takes a little bit of edge away from their product. I mean, imagine a healthy Omega right now with Ospreay there, and I know they got, these people have wrestled before. Jay White there, Okada there. That's a pretty big loss for them right now. What do you think?
It does. They're missing MJF a lot because MJF's injury and the timing of it caused a domino effect. Because you mentioned Adam Cole. This Undisputed Kingdom does not. It just is dull. It's dead before it began because of MJF's injury. Like, I'm still one. I've said it on streams before. They should have just waited to pull the trigger. If they knew MJF needed that time off, you should have just waited and kept us in suspense, especially with Cole already being hurt. Like, what was the point? Now, he's on screen reading books, which is a great story thing. Like, it looks good, but like, we can't get what we want. We can't get the matches that we want because he's hurt. And then, so I feel like they're really, really missing MJF stock. Like, he became the biggest thing in the company, and he made the company. He did what Punk did. Like, he made it like you want to watch it, like how Punk's 2011 run, the summer of Punk, was to WWE. You had to tune in. You had to see what was going on. That's how MJF is. And Kenny, they miss Kenny, and Kenny makes an impact, but I think MJF is the bigger hit that they missed it. If they would have lost Kenny and still had MJF, I think it would have been okay. We still would get a better product than what we got now. But the fact that it's both of them combined, it's really hurting their stock. And the only thing that positive is, I've been paying attention to AEW. Their production value has gone up. Like, these videos that they're doing and all that's gone up. But their stories and the wrestling, everything else is kind of like fell off in the wayside. So it's like they got to find a way to balance it. If they did all this production, they did everything, they kept the stories and the wrestling the way they had it about a year ago, they'll be pretty even playing field, and it'll be better. And I would really be proud to say, hey, I can watch AEW every week. But it's like, sometimes it's like the Ospreay match, that the forearms that I talked about it on JJ's stream, that just makes you like not want to watch anymore. That back and forth, I'm hitting you with forearms and you fall and you just react. It's like, I'm an MMA guy. Somebody hit you with this crap for real, you're out. Like I mean, some people can take it. And
not in AEW.
Yeah,
they're all Hulk Hogan. You didn't know that?
Yeah, it's the Canadian Destroyer spot. Oh, like that was worse, to be honest. Okay, maybe a forearm you might survive, but that 2 Canadian Destroyers back to back, like, it's just too much. It's just like,
what was it? Was it Orange Cassidy and Penta? Like,
yeah. It's too much. I don't know. I can't take it, but they really missing both of them. The only positive I can spin it is that the production value somehow went up.
All right, now I'm going to pass over to JJ. I'm going to throw another name out there to you. Now, it's not a name that went to WWE, but it's
Jack Perry.
different. It's a different reason because of retirement.
I was going to mention
Sting. I mean, I've seen, like, we know what the AEW ratings have been, and it seems like they dropped another 50 to 100,000, which, like, whatever. But since Sting's left, you could throw him in the mix too, JJ. What do you got to say?
As cruel as this may sound, I don't think they're missing Steen that much because he was only really kind of part-time to begin with. He wasn't there on every single Dynamite. He was there, maybe once a month. They'd trot him out there for a save with Darby, or he'd do a tag match. I gotta agree as far as MJF goes, and I do think they're missing Adam Cole some too, because if he was healthier, I think he'd at least be able to drive this Undisputed Kingdom story a little bit better than it's going. Either that or they just should have had somebody else be the devil. And then once he was healthy, make it seem like he was pulling the devil's strings all along from the sidelines. Kind of like Rikishi ran over Austin, but Triple H was really pulling the strings. So somebody else was the big reveal on the devil mask. And then once Cole was healthy, he's like, I've been doing this all along.
Fair enough.
But with Cole not there to really be playing up what he did and how he orchestrated this, like Walter said, it's just fallen flat. So I think the combination, Omega, the diverticulitis sucks, and it sucks to see him on the sideline, but I have a feeling he'd be caught up in this whole Young Bucks heat and hatred that's just being showered on them, and deservedly so, at least from my perspective. I don't know if he'd be able to escape that if he was on TV right now. I think this is the best thing for him, is being able to distance himself from them.
And they'll be back, right? MJF, Omega, in time.
Yeah.
You know how it is in wrestling. Now, are you good, JJ?
Yeah.
TJS, I'm going to come over to you. And so JJ's opinion about Sting, I think you're thinking differently. Maybe not. You were going to bring him up, so I didn't mean to steal your thunder.
No, yeah.
Explain. You're going to bring him up, and it doesn't matter. He wasn't a factor, or he does. I see even Tito in the chat kind of said he had his fans, and it seemed like they left when he left. But go ahead, TJS.
Well, yeah, they sold out the Revolution pay-per-view, and I think that was Sting's final match was a big factor in that, because it seems like the World Championship is basically an afterthought at this point. I mean, Swerve is okay, but Swerve versus Joe is no MJF versus Punk. You know what I mean? I feel like they're lacking star power, which is crazy to say because they have Adam Copeland, Chris Jericho, but like you said, Virtue, MJF is out, Cole is out, and I feel like those are two big names that are pretty crucial to AEW because I like Samoa Joe, but I really don't know if he's the guy that's drawing in ratings right now. So yeah, they're missing. I mean, I'm also
final boss Samoa Joe.
Oh yeah, right. Yeah. I like Joe, like I said, but he's just not the guy I think that's going to draw in the viewers. I tune into Dynamite these days, and I just get bored. Maybe I have a bad attention span. But Aaron, I think it was last week where there was not even one in-ring promo on that show. It was literally just match after match, and why
don't you just watch something else? As people would say, you're supposed to watch wrestling for wrestling. You don't watch wrestling for soap opera stuff and entertainment. You watch for wrestling moves.
Aaron,
that's why it's called wrestling.
I would like to say that wrestling is a TV show about wrestling. It is not just wrestling. We are not watching like amateur graps. You know,
that's a good point.
Yeah. So this is not what South Park considers real wrestling. This is what we like. And I agree. Like, we need some promos. And I feel like AEW's Britt Baker is another one, Virtue, like that you mentioned. I think her absence is sorely missed here. She, we have Mercedes, but she hasn't even wrestled a match yet. Like, I don't know. I feel like AEW's cold, ice cold.
Well,
fair enough. And now, Aaron.
So obviously I miss MJF. I've been a big fan of his, and he's been a big fan of us, which is no secret at this point. But I think he is the closest thing to a larger than life personality that AEW had, and that's what AEW needs. I think they need star power, and they need fresh stars. Ospreay has a chance. Ospreay is the closest thing to a potential new main event star that they have. He's got some personality. He's great in the ring. I think he's going to be world champion by the time they get to Wembley Stadium. That's my guess. Okada is a great wrestler. I don't know if he's going to get to a higher level or if he's going to be at the level he was at before in Japan. Time will tell on that. Hopefully we get to see him versus Kenny Omega in an AEW ring, but Omega might need surgery. He might not be back anytime soon. Same goes for MJF. They got to start building up some new stars, and we just need somebody who has some real personality come in and just turn things upside down. And unfortunately, I don't see too many people on the horizon. Psycho Jet Black sent in a $2 super chat. He says, who do you want to see be the top face and heel of AEW? Well, like I said, Ospreay, I think, has a good shot to be the top face. As far as top heel goes, it's hard to say. Like, whoever can go out there and get the heat. Don Callis can get the heat, but, he's a manager who's been around in the business for 30-plus years. We need somebody new who can come in and get that kind of heat. Christian gets great heat, but again, same deal. 50-plus-year-old guy. We need somebody in their 20s who can come out there and get that kind of heat. Walter?
You know what's ironic? AEW has Chris Jericho, and they actually need someone to save them. Remember that gimmick, the skit come save us? They literally need real life somebody to save them. Like, and it's just ironic that they got Chris Jericho, but they don't have anybody that can save the company. Like somebody.
Yeah, they need a Jericho. They need somebody who can do everything. They need somebody who can obviously be a great wrestler, and that's what the AEW fan base wants. But they also need somebody who can bring in some new viewers, like a larger than life personality, somebody who can talk, who's in your face, who has an attitude, and just turns the brand upside down. They need like their Stone Cold Steve Austin, a guy who Ryback is the answer. But they need that guy, like somebody who you will tune in every week to see. Like, I got to see this guy every week. Like, he's awesome. And when he comes out there, I don't know what he's going to do, but he's going to do something very entertaining. That's what we need. Isn't
that Daniel Garcia, Aaron? Don't you tune in every week
to see him do that dance?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah,
Daniel Garcia.
They would have had it with Wardlow if they didn't screw up his booking. You could have.
I still don't get that with Wardlow. Like, he can actually talk. Like, that promo he did a few weeks ago, I thought was very good. And when he talked a couple years ago before they gave up on his push, like, I thought he did fine. Like, I didn't think there was anything wrong with his talking, and he's got the look. Like, the marketing and booking has been piss poor with Wardlow. JJ?
When in doubt, send Hook.
Can Hook really talk, though? Like, I feel like his couple of promos.
Yeah. I think he's got RVD and WWE promo skills. Dude.
Yeah. I don't know.
Whatever.
Like I like that he's a little bit different. Yeah, I mean, he's got a little bit of a different look, which I like. I think he stands out, but like just on the promos, like, I don't know. I think he's not there yet, but he might get there. Give him time.
Better than Orange Cassidy. I like Hook better than Orange Cassidy.
I think Orange Cassidy, he's a really good wrestler too, but I think he has hit his ceiling. Like, I really don't see him going at a higher level than what he's been at the past couple of years. So they need to keep trying with different people. And this guy Experience sent in a $2 super chat. He says, who could help Tony turn things around backstage? Like who backstage could potentially help Tony Khan? I mean, I don't think it would hurt to have some new people, like from a creative standpoint, helping him and giving him some ideas. JJ?
See if you can get Steen to come back and do some booking, because he's had enough years in the business. He's got creative mind. I think this is where you need to tap into your vet. Get Jericho, get Christian, get Edge, maybe get Christopher Daniels, get Bryan Danielson. You know, if you've ever seen him at the scrums, he's just as business savvy talking to the reporters as Tony, and he doesn't come off like a curly-haired goof. You know, Bryan Danielson's got such a great mind. Let like those 5 guys just really break in and start collaborating. I think Tony ain't it.
Yeah. To answer Mo, I do like Swerve, and I think Swerve is another guy that maybe can be a top guy. We'll see if he beats Joe. Joe's obviously not the guy. Joe is what, 45, 46 years old, you know. He's got to put over somebody. He's been a good champion for the time being, but yeah, Swerve, you know, he's got some personality. He's great in the ring. You know, I definitely think there's a shot with him. So we'll see. We'll see if he can make it to the next level. I would not be shocked if he ends up being the next world champion. But can he bring in new viewers? I mean, so far he hasn't. But you know, you got to give it time. You know, it takes a while. Sometimes you gotta spend months investing in somebody until they can reach the next level.
Aaron, the one person I think that would really help Tony Khan, and he's unobtainable, and no, not Vince Russo, not anybody that doesn't want to do it anymore. Okay, Paul Heyman. Paul Heyman is the guy, and yeah, you can say ECW ended up failing. Well, that's a business thing, right? Same with he's not like I'm saying Eric Bischoff, but Heyman wrote compelling WWE television for SmackDown before. So yeah. Heyman, and he's right in there with the bloodline stuff. Paul Heyman, but he's unobtainable, pretty much.
Mo Camera mentioned Ricky Starks as another guy. Like they completely screwed up with him, and hopefully he's okay. I know he had a little bit of an incident on Collision, but Ricky Starks, he was dead when they had Adam Copeland call him the knockoff of The Rock. That was it for him. He was screwed at that point. Yeah, they just dropped the ball on Ricky Starks. I felt like when CM Punk was around doing this stuff with Ricky Starks, like Ricky was starting to get a chance, and then Punk was gone, and Ricky Starks had the run with Big Bill, but you know, kind of fizzled out. TJS.
I was just going to say, why not bring in Vince Russo at this point? I mean, he'll at least make it entertaining.
He don't want to do that.
He does. Well,
the problem they do that, they're going to lose the viewers they have. They don't want to lose the viewers they already have.
But see, the thing is, like, I feel like there's no reach to the casuals for AEW. Like,
you'd have to do it secretly with someone like Russo. Which
you already.
They blew that back in the late TNA days when he went back there one time.
Yeah,
you already signed Jeff. You got Jeff Jarrett. He obviously has experience running a company. Use his ass.
Like JJ said, it might be accumulation of a bunch of people. Because then you throw a bunch of shit against the wall like WCW 2000, but not that. If you can be smart and have the good ones stick and work, then at least you're going to find some good content out of it.
Well, yeah, like JJ gave some good. I mean, you got those guys on the payroll already, most of them anyway. So why not just sit them down, have a meeting, and say, "What are we doing?"
I mean, you need people that know how to produce stars, and I don't know who that is. I don't know if that's Jeff Jarrett, or you might need some new blood in there. But the problem with AEW is it just feels like a bunch of wrestlers. It doesn't feel like larger than life. I hate to use the term, but superstars, you know, somebody who is bigger than just your average wrestler. And pretty much everyone feels like they're great in the ring, but they just feel, you know, like you or me, they just feel like a regular person. There's too many people like that. You know, when you had like a Jeff Hardy or something back in the day, like he was an exception, or a Mick Foley, you know, somebody who's just like your average Joe. You know, like that worked when they were like the only guy, but now everybody's a Mick Foley, everybody's a Jeff Hardy, and nobody stands out anymore. Walter?
I want to see if Virtue goes off. If you were Tony, would you try to get Jim Cornette?
Jim's maybe a little too old school. Like, I mean, let's be honest. I see like Ian's little, he's one of those little Mark trolls out there who doesn't like Russo. So Russo killed everything. But like, let's be honest. Jim Cornette was booking WWE in 1995, and
that was
and then look what happened when Russo got pulled in. He was just doing crazy shit in the magazine, and Vince McMahon's like, no, that's going to be on my TV, and it worked. Russo got burned out, went to WCW on 7 figures, and was getting that money no matter what. He just did whatever he wanted. I mean, that's what happens. And when you jump on a sinking ship, you do anything you can. And I don't think Russo ever killed TNA. He kept it on the map, dude. Him and Jarrett were the reason TNA got as popular as it did. Russo screwed up late as a consultant, and he emailed Mike Johnson that he was secretly consulting for Dixie. That's just bad. That's whatever. But that doesn't mean he was doing a bad job.
No.
Funny enough.
Oops.
Funny enough, I blame Eric Bischoff and Hulk Hogan more for TNA's demise than Russo by far.
I mean, Russo was crazy. There's no denying that. He didn't kill anything.
But he took chances. No, I feel like that's what AEW is not doing.
But Jim Cornette was still good for what his fans liked. Just maybe nobody was horrible at anything. Bischoff, they were all good in their own ways for at least a certain period of time.
The one thing that Vince Russo did that everybody forgets about and nobody wants to give him credit for is he found storylines for everybody on the roster. Mm-hmm. You tuned into an Attitude Era Raw, you saw something with Taka Michinoku or Kai Entai. You saw stuff with Steve Blackman and Al Snow. You saw, the Big Boss Man. You saw Triple H, The Rock. He had something for every level. Same thing on WCW with the New Blood and the Millionaires Club. The same thing with TNA with the Sports Entertainment Extreme and everything. He found angles and stories for everybody. You see the same 20 people on AEW, whether it's a Wednesday, Friday, or Saturday.
Yeah, I mean, you got Big Boss Man feeding Al Snow's dog to him in WWE. Like, that's the kind of stuff you got. And this is going to be an unpopular opinion, but I would rather see that than a match where a guy is just doing a bunch of flips and punching each other and they're no selling it. I'd rather see something completely over the top and ridiculous, or maybe Val Venus getting his pee chopped off. Like that was entertaining stuff. That's what I was Tony. And people are going to say, like, why do you even watch it? You could watch some bad television show. Why are you watching this? But I liked it. There was a charm to it. It was fun. And that's what wrestling needs. It needs to be fun.
For the alleged bad year of 2000 that Russo gets credit for in WCW, I think he had one hell of a bounce back when him and Jarrett did TNA, and they turned a weekly $10 pay-per-view and they got it on TV on cable.
And real quick,
and Russo's writing did that, and he bounced back from whatever people hate about WCW 2000.
And real quick, Walter, I'll get to you in a second here. Just what I wanted to add. I know some people don't like Orange Cassidy, but I actually enjoyed Orange Cassidy because it was something outside the box. Like I enjoy the outside the box stuff. If people think it's ridiculous, you got to try some different things, and sometimes it's going to work, sometimes it's not. But I like when they take chances. I want the shows to be unpredictable too. Like, you don't have to make them completely illogical, like maybe some of the Vince Russo shows were, but I want to tune in and not know what to expect. And I don't want to be able to predict every single match result when I see the lineup on paper. Like, I want some curveballs, and I want them to throw me something I'm not expecting. So I'm like, whoa, what's that about? Walter?
If I was Tony Khan, I honestly would be ringing Scott D'Amore's phone off the damn hook. Like, I would throw whatever money he wants and pull him up. You got Mercedes, you got Willow, you got all these women.
Why?
Get off of this 9:30 slot, because he's already proven himself on how he can run a women's division. You want to make your women's division better? Get Scott D'Amore.
Well, all you have to do is give them more TV time and put them in different segments of the show and utilize more people. That's all you got to do. You don't need Scott D'Amore for that. If Scott D'Amore, what he was doing was working so well, Impact would have more viewers, right?
Oof.
Yeah.
They've got a shitty TV channel and deal, though.
TNA is still TNA, whether Scott D'Amore is there or not.
I love how AEW talk turned into like Vince Russo and his other. Like, this is awesome.
Did you know what Pop was before TNA? Because I never heard of that goddamn channel before TNA was on. Like, they just had bad deal after bad deal. It's like if they could have just made it work on Spike, it would have been all right. But they're on channels and all these things that are hard to access everybody. That's why they're not as popular as it. It's like it's a niche show. TNA like has their audience, but if they can get a big network deal, I think they can compete with any other company. They're the little engine that could. I kept saying.
What are they doing that's different from any other promotion, though?
Dolph Ziggler.
Their women's division alone, they got the best women's division. They put it on site. They're not just putting one person. Like, everything that they do is just right, and they got the humor like that you like. Go look at Joe Henry and the little funny songs he make, like the stuff he does with the like his comedic music and everything that he turns into stories. That stuff is funny as hell.
Hold on. So the best women's division, they got the best woman from TNA, Deonna Purrazzo, and has she really made much of a difference in AEW?
They haven't booked her to. They don't know what to do with her.
Well, the TV time she had, did she do anything that stands out from anybody else?
Aaron, at this point, I swear to God, Tony Khan is just signing people so WWE can't get them.
I agree.
Well, that could be true, or just because he wants to say, I beat them. I got Ospreay. I got Okada.
WWE is
doing with them.
Yeah, it's like he's just putting them in like his reservoir, JJ. Like
Seriously.
Put them in the fridge.
Tony Khan just went to the local Walmart, went to the action figure aisle, bought his Okada figure, and now he's playing with it every Wednesday night.
Yes. But we're talking about TNA now, Aaron. Do some super chats so we can move on to CM Punk.
Okay. This is the problem. When you do the AEW topic, we end up going on for like 30 minutes about it. So say what you will about AEW, but we always have something to say about AEW every week.
Because how bad
That's right,
they
because
do.
Aaron absolutely hates AEW.
Yeah, Aaron, aren't you? You're posting your low attendance all the time, right?
And I didn't share the photo from Collision when they drew a slightly better crowd in a smaller building, which is probably a good idea. Book smaller buildings. And if you can't run a building with 5,000 people in Quebec City or wherever they were, then maybe don't go there. Just
you
saying.
Sent me as a spy to show their attendances and what they claim. You do a lot here.
Yeah. Psycho Jet Black sent in a $5 super chat. Thank you, Psycho. Appreciate the super chats. He says, should AEW try something controversial as to take someone and push them down people's throats like Vince McMahon did with Roman Reigns? Well, who would they push in that role, first of all? And second, I don't think they would because, again, they don't want to lose the audience they already have. And I think that's maybe one problem is that Tony Khan is going to want to stick to what works, and he doesn't want to lose whatever audience he has. So he may be afraid to take chances. JJ.
You don't want to take somebody and push them down people's throat like Vince did with Roman, but you also don't want to strap the rocket to them and then take the rocket off after 2 weeks.
Which is kind of what they did with Wardlow.
Yeah, I was going to say, just like Wardlow.
Wardlow is the biggest mistake that Tony Khan has made. Like, he hasn't made a lot of mistakes. Maybe Virtue might disagree with that, but the biggest mistake he made was not taking Wardlow to the next level when Wardlow was organically hot.
And
Miro too. He had it with Miro too.
From a booking standpoint, I'd agree. The biggest mistake Tony made is letting CM Punk get away and not firing the Bucks instead.
I mean, He let CM Punk go. He lost Cody Rhodes. He lost Jade Cargill. I mean, what are we talking about, Aaron? There are not many mistakes.
Well, that's the thing, too. Jade Cargill was like probably their biggest female star. Not great in the ring, and that's why they're working on her slowly in WWE. But She had the most star presence and the biggest upside, I think, to anybody in AEW. Britt Baker is there too, and I don't know what's going on with her, but I mean, she was probably the biggest homegrown star they had, and she's been an afterthought as of late. Walter?
The mistake they made with Jade is, why the hell didn't you get her past the TBS title? Why did you make her have that title and not unify it with the other? You should have made a badass, undefeated, unified that title. You had everything with her, and you wouldn't get her past that mid-card title. That's basically their mid-card title.
Tony Khan books by star ratings in their matches.
Yeah, Jade's not the best wrestler, so because of that, he just made her the TBS champion and just had her there. She'd do her promos, cut the shit, Tony, and that was her shtick. She didn't really do much.
But see, not being a great wrestler has never really mattered. Hulk Hogan wasn't a great wrestler. Instead of cut the shit, Tony, it was, what you gonna do, brother?
Yeah.
The funny thing about Hogan, though,
the
JJ, Hulk Hogan in WWE wasn't a great wrestler. Yeah. He really was a very good wrestler. Did you see?
I know. I've seen the Japan
but he didn't need to be that, right? In WWE, he didn't need to do that, and that's the beauty of it. That was the beauty of it.
Warrior
as
a wrestler,
I've seen the Japan matches, but we're talking about stateside television. I'm just saying.
But yeah, I feel like AEW and Tony Khan specifically are only going to push the great wrestlers. They're not going to push the big personalities if they're not that great in the ring. He wants, like he said, he wants the star ratings. He wants the work rate guys. The work rate guys are the ones that are going to be pushed.
They're only going to push the friends of the elite.
Well, that too. You know, if you're a friend of the Bucks or Kenny Omega, then you know you're in good standing with AEW. But anyways,
Aaron, where are we? Come on.
All right. So Finn sent in a $2 super chat. Thank you, Finn. Says Tony Khan should use Chat GPT to book storylines. He might already be doing that for all we know.
I'm sorry, Bertrand. The AEW topic lit a fire under my ass. But
we could be here for 4 hours talking about
real.
All right. We got one more and then the main event. The This Guy Experience sent in a $2 super chat. He says TNA and AEW merged. Book it, guys. AEW to Unreal.
Sure.
I mean, I don't think Anthem wants to get rid of their brand. Like, they seem to enjoy running their little company, and you know, they've had opportunities. You know, apparently Scott D'Amore wanted to grow the brand and try to make it something again, and they're like, you know what, we like just doing our little small budget thing. So that's what they're doing. Like, I'm surprised that TNA has survived, but they have. Like, they're gonna outlive us all. Somehow, some way.
Cockroaches
anyway.
of the wrestling
nuclear
industry.
holocaust.
TNA is the cockroach of wrestling. All right, let's move on.
You're right.
Okay.
You're right, JJ. Nuclear holocaust.
Like, I gotta be very clear right here. Moving on from AEW, just like CM Punk did in real life, we move on to CM Punk in WWE.
Damn.
And he is going to be part of a WrestleMania. He is going to be on commentary for the World Heavyweight Championship match between Drew McIntyre and Seth Rollins. Now, I know there's that group of people out there, and even Vince Russo said this. Oh, that's a bad decision. He should be the referee. And I'm sitting there thinking, should he though? Because yes, like when Shawn Michaels was special guest referee in certain matches, it adds that drama. But in this instance, don't take a chance on the arm. Let it heal 100%. We want to see him at SummerSlam wrestle. Why not CM Punk on commentary so we can hear him talk for 15 to 20 minutes? That's his power. That's his, like you would say, Walter, his shtick. So I want everybody's thoughts on this. And I'm going to start with you, JJ.
You know, CM Punk is good on commentary, but I think what made everybody say that, you know, and he should be the referee, is if they weren't going to pull that trigger, Punk should have never dropped to the mat and showed that he could count with his other arm. Once they did that and then decided not to give us referee Punk, I feel that's where they screwed up. Now, we still have a Raw and a SmackDown. They could pivot again and change things, but that's where they messed up, is they had Punk get down on the ground, show he could count with the other arm, And then they were like, yeah, well, that's great. He can still count, but we're going to do this instead.
Yeah. Hey, JJ, like Cody winning the Royal Rumble and then going to Rock and Roman.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean,
Yeah.
I don't mind Punk on commentary. I don't mind Punk being the referee. I don't mind Punk being the guest host of WrestleMania.
That's
as long as Punk is there, that's all I care about.
Yeah.
You know, Second City Saint, Straight Edge Savior. I pledge allegiance to the Straight Edge Society. But they shouldn't have showed that he could do it and then just not given it to us.
Right. JJ, what I wanted to add to that is that might have been, I think the plan of the segment was obviously for CM Punk to be the ring announcer. I wonder if the whole him counting 3 like that with his good arm, I wonder if that was something that he just did on the fly. Like, this segment was apparently very unscripted. Like, they were basically just told what to say, a basic idea, and then they went out there and kind of winged it. And I wonder if that maybe that's a downside to not scripting enough, is when they go out there and do that, it might create a false hope that maybe he is going to be the referee. And the crowd did chant for the referee. You know, they wanted the referee spot. So you could be right. They may pivot. They may change plans and have him, or maybe they thought that it's going to be a better match. But yeah, I think him doing that 3 count, that might have been something that he did on the fly, and that wasn't intended because they were going in a different direction, and now they might have to go in that direction. So we'll see what they do.
That's fair. That's fair. I mean, as far as him being on commentary, I agree with everything he said in the ring. I'm waiting to see him make these 2 interesting, because I really could care less about this match.
Whoa!
I honestly couldn't. I love Drew. Seth, I can take or leave, but I'm watching this match waiting for Damian Priest to come out and cash in on whoever wins. Like, for real, that's all I give a damn about this match for.
Wow.
I could care less about Seth versus Drew. Now,
Wow.
what about when Punk's back, Punk and Drew? Because they're building
that I want to see. I still want to see Punk and Rollins.
Yeah.
But you do care about it a little bit.
I care about it enough to see, is Priest going to cash in, because that's what I want to see happen.
Yeah.
I want Drew McIntyre to win the title, Priest to cash in and just rip that feeling right back away from Drew. Finally won the title in front of fans, and now it's gone again.
And fair enough. And Priest makes it so you do care at least a little bit. So there you go.
And listen, I still would not be surprised if Priest cashes it in a la like Rollins did to make it a triple threat while the guys are still, and that's the means for McIntyre to win the title. So again, I'm not on predictions. I don't want you guys, whoever's on predictions, save it for Tuesday.
I'm gonna be on predictions with Noah on Tuesday.
Yeah, and even so, save all that for Tuesday. But that I don't do predictions, so that's why I say those things. All right. Well, anything else, JJ?
Nope.
Raise your hand if there is.
We'll do.
TJS.
Well, I am kind of bummed that Punk is just going to be on commentary for one match, because I guess I'm a little bit selfish, but I wanted to have him appear like all throughout the night, and I wanted him to host the show. Yeah.
I like that.
Yeah, I think that would have been cool. But him being on commentary, I mean, it's going to be good. Like, I'll like it, but I'm wondering if maybe Punk is doing a little bit better than we're led to believe, and wonder if he'll maybe take a bump or something at WrestleMania. Don't take the chance if he's not, doing well, but if he is, that would be cool. As far as the referee is concerned, I mean, I could see why they wouldn't do that, because they probably just want this to be a clean match. They don't want to, add in Punk. And I feel like if they put Punk in there to call the match and he does it right down the middle, people are going to be disappointed. They're going to want some antics, So I'm okay with them being commentator. But another thing about that is the fans that are in attendance, they're not even going to hear what Punk is saying. So Punk will get the big pop when he comes up for the entrance, but then he's just going to be sitting at the table. So I feel like the host would have been better, because you're You're getting Punk all throughout the show. The
Yeah.
live fans can hear him, you know. So we'll see, but happy to see Punk there either way.
I like that, TJS. He should have been the host. And
Yeah.
I don't even know if they're going to do that anymore. They don't have one, right? Do they?
Yeah, I haven't heard of one.
Maybe they gave
Still
up
got
on
a week left, though.
Yeah.
Probably will be a celebrity.
What if he's not only special commentary, but what if he is still the host?
I would love it.
There you go. So we'll see. Walter.
I called Punk being I don't remember if it was gonna on a review or it was during open mic night, but I said he was gonna end up being the commentator. And don't be shocked if there's a big ass ref bump. There's nobody to count. Punk gets up, takes his shirt off, and he has a referee shirt underneath and gets in the ring. That's gonna be the biggest pop right there. That alone. Like, don't be surprised if that's gonna happen. Like in the middle of Drew, somebody's gonna hit their big move. There's gonna be no ref to count. And Punk's going to take his shirt off and has a referee shirt underneath and jumps in the ring. Go ahead, Aaron.
Walter, are you on predictions or no?
Not the Tuesday. I might be on Noah's, but
Okay.
I'll be on your Thursday.
Yeah, so go ahead and share whatever you want.
Yeah.
I have an opinion on that, which kind of relates to what you just said, but I'll save that for the NoDQ
Okay.
predictions Tuesday night at 7 p.m.
Yeah.
Eastern. Go ahead.
Yeah. But yeah, like that's probably what you can do. And I don't think that's originally the plan, but now you guys both, JJ and Virtue, mentioned pivots. That might be the pivot right there. He's on commentary, but he's got the referee shirt unbeknownst to everybody underneath, and he pops it off. He takes his shirt off, and that's what you do with a big ref bump. But I'm fine with his commentary, but TJS brought up a good point. I'm there in person. I won't hear anything Punk has to say, so it kind of like ruins my moment. So it would have been good for him to be a host, but as long as Punk is there, I'm happy. I don't give a damn what role he's in.
Fair enough. Aaron, bunch of super chats came in, and go ahead on your thoughts.
All right. First of all, shout out to Jerry, who sent in a $2 super chat. Just wanted to hear about CM Punk, and we are definitely talking about CM Punk. CM Punk is a needle mover, regardless of what outlet it is. CM Punk moves numbers, and I'll talk more on that in just a second here. Sean Smith sent in a $5 super chat. Thank you, Sean. There's a thumbs up for you. He says, calling it, CM Punk screws over Drew and costs him the title. And it could go down the way that Walter just said. Maybe CM Punk takes off his shirt and is wearing the referee shirt for the big pop. We'll see what happens. Finn sent in a $2 super chat. Thank you for that, Finn. Appreciate it. There's a thumbs up for you. Says, imagine if Ryback does the stink face on CM Punk. Why don't we always have to talk about Ryback on the NoDQ review?
He's a needle mover. He moves the needle backwards.
In the opposite direction. He moves it towards me.
Ryback
to
moves
be-
the needle better than half the people Tony Khan signs.
Damn.
I mean, to be fair, Ryback does generate traffic. People are like, why do you keep sharing stuff that he talks about on NoDQ? Because people actually read it, and it generates engagement. It's good engagement farming.
But who's the number one needle mover for NoDQ the past decade?
Thank you for asking. The answer is CM Punk. CM Punk is the needle mover of NoDQ. Number one. He's been that way since 2011, when he quit in 2014, when he signed with AEW in 2021, when he got in that brawl backstage at All Out 2022, and then when he got fired 2023, came back Survivor Series, and then he comes back on Raw. Once again, the needle mover, and he's moving the needle for WWE. Highest rated segment on Raw, 2.2 million viewers for the CM Punk segment. Jack, CM Punk, look at the quarter hours. CM Punk segment with Drew McIntyre and Seth Rollins, 2.2 million viewers, which is very high for Raw these days. They rarely do over 2 million viewers. I
want to point out, when he was on any of the Dynamites, they were the closest consistently to the higher 900,000s, almost a million. Then he left. Look where they're at. There's a couple 100,000 people that went with him. That's
JJ?
2.2 million in that segment, and he didn't need the Big Bang Theory to lead him in.
Well said. But the thing is, go ahead, JJ. Or go ahead, Walter.
I was just gonna say, I guarantee that if we were still in like the pay-per-view era, the Survivor Series would have got well over 1 million buys just for the rumor that Punk would have came back.
Well,
even look at Rampage. I know they didn't really have that great of numbers. They're a couple 100,000 down since he's been gone. That's
way down. Remember when he showed up, that Rampage did over 1 million viewers. That was Friday night, the 10 o'clock time slot. They got over 1 million viewers for CM Punk's
and I was
debut.
getting confused. That one, but also Collision. Collision wasn't on Saturday night, but it still was doing better with him than since he's left. Big time.
I honestly haven't watched
look at the
Collision
chart
since then. I haven't watched Collision since then.
I'm just saying he's moving something.
Yeah.
Collision, for a lot of people, I know myself and a lot of other people, Collision was somewhat of a big deal with CM Punk. Like with CM Punk, they would tune in and follow the show. But with Punk gone, like that left a huge void of star power for AEW. Not having Punk around.
It was must-see TV. Now it's, look, 2 hours of squash matches.
Pretty much. 2 hours of not as important matches as what you get on Dynamite. Basically what it is. But anyways, just final thoughts on that CM Punk segment. I thought it was great. I love that they're being able to be more unscripted now. It just makes the segments feel more natural. And whatever he does at WrestleMania, I think it's going to be entertaining. I have an opinion. I have a theory on what's going to happen, but you guys will have to wait on that. That's going to be Thursday night because that match will be on night 2 of WrestleMania. So right. Thursday night will be the part 2 of our predictions at 8 p.m. Eastern, 5 p.m. Pacific. So I do have to get that plug out. Virtue.
Aaron, what did you think about CM Punk doing the cryptic about Vince McMahon? I know that's
I loved it.
I know that's only the smart fans, pretty much, and Drew laughed, but
he did.
Who does that? CM Punk does that.
That's entertaining, and you know what? They all apparently are getting along fine, and they have an understanding. They're doing business. They're all professionals, and it was great. It's funny because everybody says cage match, that database. They're all anti WWE. Well, that Raw, which was a lot of talking, it wasn't so much a wrestling show as it was building up WrestleMania. That is the highest rated episode of Raw ever, besides the Owen Hart and Eddie Guerrero tribute shows. Like that was universally one of the most critically acclaimed Raws of all time. And they did have some good wrestling. I mean, Ricochet had a great match on Raw, but it's the talking segments that people remember, the Rock stuff with Cody Rhodes and the CM Punk, Drew McIntyre, Seth Rollins segment. Like that was fire. That was entertaining television. And the thing about, going back to earlier, at the end of the day, WrestleMania is going to be a wrestling show. You are going to get your wrestling matches. The point of Raw and SmackDown and for AEW, the point of the TV shows is to build up your big events, your premium live events or your pay-per-views. So you want to do angles and you want to do talking segments to hype up people so they have a reason to want to see the wrestling at the big events. Go ahead, Walter.
And I was just going to Tony, don't wait a week before your big event to start announcing matches.
I'd like to shout out to Cornette's podcast, too, that Punk did. We need MJF when he's back to do that for the NoDQ review, or at least something from each of them. On AEW television.
You can imagine that,
He might be watching. You never know what Maxwell Jacob Friedman is up to, but he might be watching this, and if he is, we would love a NoDQ shout-out one of these days, maybe something a little subtle on TV, see if we pick up on it.
Yeah, and Drew definitely almost broke character. That was funny as hell. Like
Drew is awesome. Drew is doing the best work of his career. I mean, I think this heel turn has been fantastic. I'm loving it.
Yeah, he had a couple little lines there, like he crossed his leg. He says, "Get out of here," because he's trying to look up my did you perv? Yeah, and like he had a couple off. He had a couple fingers.
Oh yeah, he was ripping into Punk good. I enjoyed it, and Punk was going right back at him, like trading jabs.
He cut off his music, said, "No, you don't get to leave. You're not even in the match." Yeah, that was awesome.
And hey, if we're patient, at WrestleMania 41, we're going to have Rock and Roman. Again, barring injuries, barring circumstances, and we hopefully will get CM Punk in his first ever WrestleMania main event night 1.
Hopefully he stays healthy. I mean, I really hope he can stay healthy.
But next year's WrestleMania, we could have a Punk main event and then the Bloodline.
Raw. Yeah, one more thing about Raw was the show of the week, and how often do we get to say that?
I mean, I think it was the best Raw in years. I stand by what I said last week. I think that was the best Raw in well over a decade. I mean, I can't even remember the last time I thought like a Raw was that entertaining. It's been a very long time.
It would have been like a Raw after Mania, probably back in like.
I mean, probably like that. You know what? Maybe that the Raw where Ziggler won the title, like that was a really awesome Raw. So it might go back that far. Like I don't know if it's like best Raw ever, but it would be like top 10 for me, or maybe top 15. It was definitely up there. Best in a very long time.
You're giving me an idea for my videos. JJ, we might have to go through top 10 Raws.
Aaron, what else you got?
I mean, I think we're all caught up here. A great discussion tonight.
Yeah. Let's do our plugs. JJ, welcome back. You're clutch. I know you're reliable too, but that's Walter's moniker. But thank you. Go ahead.
Yeah, no worries, man. Thank you for the invite, Virtue. And Aaron, thank you for having me.
Absolutely.
I do my own wrestling reviews every Monday through Thursday on the Casa D18 Studios channel for the love of wrestling. Mondays, I usually review the weekend stuff, so I talk about TNA Impact and SmackDown. Tuesdays is Raw. Wednesday is NWA Power and NXT. Thursday is AEW Dynamite. I got rid of doing Rampage, Collision, and TNA Explosion. It was just too much. I'm focusing on the major shows from the companies at this point. NWA Power has been a cool little show to get into, some kind of hokey shtick matches, but there's also been some hidden gems in there as well. So if you've got the CW app, I recommend giving it a watch, at least checking out a couple episodes. But yeah, that's me every Monday through Thursday, 9 a.m. Pacific, noon Eastern.
As always, thank you again. TJS, you made it this week. We were going to have you on last week. You bounced back. Nice rebound. Go ahead.
Yeah. Here I am, guys. I appreciate, always happy to be on. We went almost an hour and a half. So was a good discussion as always. Looking forward to WrestleMania. Aaron's going to plug those predictions. So make sure you tune in because those are always, I think those are some of the WrestleMania predictions are always some of the more fun predictions of the year. So
absolutely.
Tune in, and we're going to have some fun, guys.
And thank you. All right, reliable one.
All right. Well, before I go, do you want to get that super chat or do you want to do it when you go?
I'll go. Go ahead.
All right. So, 1 o'clock, WrestleMania Sunday, 1 o'clock p.m. We're doing a NoDQ meetup at the Xfinity Live. It had the address there, but it's cut off. So I'll get that for you. Yeah, Big G, if you're watching, you got to redo it because you cut off a lot of it.
I should have known. I should have known Big G did that graphic.
But you got to screen capture it. But the NoDQ meetup at 1, and then on my personal stuff on the socials on X, you got Walter Alex Cruz, the Cal Fire Farms Instagram, and of course the Rage of Wrestling YouTube. So again, as always, thanks for having me up here every week. I'm becoming a staple of the NoDQ. I'm like, it's like me, Virtue, and Aaron, and it's like, all right, who else now at this point? Because it's just like me guaranteed to be up here.
Thank you, as always, Aaron.
All right, Psycho Jet Black. Do the top 10 WWE Raws have Ryback in them? Maybe the first 3-hour Raw where CM Punk turned heel on The Rock. Maybe Ryback was on that show.
Wasn't that Raw 1000?
Yeah.
Oh, you know what? What was that Raw where CM Punk hit the fan in the crowd? He fought Vince, like that, a match like with Vince. I thought that was a really good Raw. Like that was peak heel CM Punk. And Ryback was probably on that show. Like that was around the time they had their Hell in a Cell match. So yeah, there was probably a really good Raw that had Ryback on it. Not too many though. I mean, Ryback
maybe not Ryback, but Skip Sheffield perhaps the night that the Nexus first debuted.
There you go. That was a great ending. One of the better endings to Monday Night Raw. That's up there. Like best Raw endings. That the pipe bomb and what we saw
Nope.
this week. You know,
Don't
Great-
bring up
great
that old
ending.
Nexus. I'll go off on a rampage because that booking, the way they screwed that with Cena. Huh.
oh,
And
here
I
we
don't know
go.
if- yeah, I was gonna say, there you go, right there.
There we go. There we go, guys. 1100 Patterson Avenue, Philadelphia, 1 p.m.
So that's 1
Sunday.
p.m. If you guys want to meet up with Walter and Big G, there's the address to do it. And make sure you guys RSVP on the page so they have an idea of what the head count's going to be. Like sometimes we have people show up that did not RSVP. Sometimes people RSVP and don't show up. But if you do plan on showing up and you're 99% sure you're going to be there, make sure you guys RSVP on Facebook. Just search NoDQ Meetup. Maybe we can make like a special URL for it so it'll be easy to plug. But anyways, guys, this was night 1 of 13 straight nights of live streaming. So I can mark off the first one on here. We got 12 to go. Monday Night Raw, a lot will be happening. Roman Reigns, The Rock will be in the house. And then we got our predictions later this week. I'll keep plugging that as we get through the week. So stay tuned. And NoDQ.com will keep it covered. Oh, last thing here, Psycho Jet Black. Why is he doing this? Set to the
He
$2.
wanted me to go off.
What are your thoughts on the Nexus? Sum it
I
up.
think,
You got
I think
60
a rant
seconds.
of that magnitude needs more than $2.
Yeah. I'll give the convert. They screwed it up. They had it. That was one of the best endings of Raw. You break the rope. That just seemed real, and you let it all go to hell. I'll just do the nice summed up version. This is an open
Was
mic
that-
night where we could go crazy.
Was that before the pipe bomb or after?
Yes, before the pipe bomb.
Before.
So, okay. I don't care that happened that way. It went down that way because it led to Punk doing what he did, leading to the pipe bomb and all of that. So it was probably for the better for all time.
All right. Shout out to Mr. Anderson. Thank you, Mr. Anderson. He sent in a $5 super chat. He says, Happy Easter, No DQ Universe. Let's give a shout out to the bunny rabbit from Adam Rose's Rose Buds, the bunny rabbit. What's your favorite Easter themed wrestling moment in history? Is there one, or were they all lousy?
I can.
Stone Cold getting crucified, does that count?
Whoa.
Hey,
Damn.
We mean
that
that was a
bunny
symbol. That wasn't a crucifix. That was a
yeah.
symbol. That was the
that bunny had
Undertaker's
a few
symbol.
good matches though, man.
A bad bunny?
That's the
Oh,
one
yeah.
holiday that doesn't resonate with wrestling to me. So
And shout out to Mo Camera. Mo, you're welcomed on the predictions if you want to be on. I know Virtue has you banned from the review, but I'll have you on predictions if you're up for it. So hit me up if you want to be on predictions sometime. And
I mean, he can send me a kiss my ass video where he's talking up to me. I'm sorry, blah 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 blah. But it's
I
not
thought
him.
What's
Vince
the email?
owned that club.
No DQ
What's the
Virtue,
email?
NoDQVirtue@gmail.com. And since he's such a mark for you, Aaron, he can also copy NoDQ_MISC@gmail.com.
Ooh.
There you go. All right, go ahead and wrap us up here.
All right. Follow me on X.com if you dare at NoDQ_Virtue. Go to NoDQ.com/merch and get all the great new merchandise, including the new Virtue You're a Mark shirt. Yes, it is up. Go grab one now. That is it. It's WrestleMania week, and Aaron will be on every day heading into their predictions coming up Tuesday. For Aaron, Walter, JJ, TJS, and the entire NoDQ crew and galaxy, I am Virtue. Good night, everybody. We'll see you on the review the Tuesday after WrestleMania. Good night.